They said it couldn't be done. Not in this era. Not in any era. But then, Shohei Ohtani stepped up to the plate. It began as an ordinary evening, a mild wind brushing across the stadium, fans chatting, popcorn flying, cameras rolling lazily. Nobody knew that in the next few minutes, they would witness something that defied logic, statistics, and maybe even reality itself. The pitcher looked calm, confident even, gripping the ball like he'd done 1,000 times before. But across from him stood a man whose eyes burned with something different. A quiet storm. A look that said, "Today, history changes." The first pitch came flying in, 97 miles per hour, fast, ruthless, unforgiving. Crack. The sound echoed through the night air like a thunderclap. Gone. Over the wall. Home run number 1. The crowd rose, a wave of disbelief and joy mixing together. Cameras snapped, hands flew into the air. But no one, not a single soul, thought that was just the beginning. Second at bat. The pitcher changed. The strategy changed. But Ohtani, he didn't. Another swing. Another explosion. 2 home runs. 2 swings. The crowd began to murmur. The air grew heavier. Something unreal was brewing. Third pitch. Another home run. And now, people weren't cheering anymore, they were stunned silent. This wasn't normal. This wasn't baseball as they knew it. This was something else, something cosmic. By the 4th home run, phones were shaking in people's hands. Some fans had tears in their eyes. Others laughed in disbelief. Commentators lost their voices, stuttering over words like impossible, insane, and legendary. Ohtani didn't celebrate. He didn't point to the sky. He just jogged the bases with the calm of a man who knew exactly what he was doing. As if he'd seen this moment before. By the 5th home run, even the opposing team stood in awe. No boos. No anger. Just respect. And fear. The ballpark felt like it was levitating. Every time he swung, you could feel the ground tremble. Then came the 6th. A monster shot. Deep. Way back. The outfielders didn't even move, they just turned around and watched it disappear into the night. 7. And now it wasn't even about baseball anymore. It was about destiny. About what happens when a human being taps into something greater than himself. 8. The unthinkable. The crowd erupted. No, it exploded. The camera lenses fogged from the noise, the lights flickered, the announcer lost control. People hugged strangers. Some dropped to their knees. A woman in the front row cried uncontrollably, whispering, "I can't believe it, I just can't." Even Ohtani, who had remained stone-faced, let a tiny smile escape. He'd done it. 8 consecutive home runs, each one more majestic, more terrifying than the last. The stadium shook like an earthquake had hit. It wasn't a baseball game anymore. It was a moment carved into the fabric of sports history, something that would be replayed, reanalyzed, and reimagined for generations. The scoreboard looked almost surreal. Fans began chanting not his name, but something deeper, a kind of reverence. Shohei, 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 and in that chant, you could hear what he had become. Not just a player, not just a legend, but a symbol of what's possible when talent meets belief, when preparation meets destiny. Reporters rushed the field, cameras swarmed, and yet, amidst the chaos, Ohtani walked slowly toward the dugout, eyes down, as if thanking something invisible. He wasn't chasing glory, he was honoring it. Later, he said just one sentence to the press. Greater than, "I wasn't trying to make history, I was just trying to find the perfect swing." But everyone knew, perfection had found him instead. The footage spread across the internet like wildfire. Millions watched, rewound, replayed. Every angle, every slow-motion replay told the same story. This wasn't luck. It was art. Analysts tried to explain it, physics, timing, muscle memory. But how do you measure soul? How do you quantify the roar of 50,000 people losing their minds in unison? You don't. You feel it. In Japan, they called it Kami no Yuru, the night of the gods. In America, they simply called it the miracle game. For days, the baseball world stood still. Pitchers whispered about it. Coaches studied it frame by frame. And fans, they just smiled, because they knew they'd seen something they might never see again. Years from now, kids will ask their parents, "Were you watching that night when Ohtani hit 8 straight?" And their parents will smile softly and say, "Yes." And the earth shook when he did. Because that's what legends do. They don't just win games. They rewrite the limits of what we thought was possible. And on that night, under those lights, with every heart pounding in unison, Shohei Ohtani didn't just play baseball. He touched eternity.